everyone. Good afternoon. Hello, DJ. Thank you again for the invite and for giving me this opportunity to share my experiences as a financial advisor for the past 8 years. No. Let me begin with a short introduction about myself. I'm 31 years old. I was born to and raised in a family of five in Iloilo City. My parents provided more than enough for us to live comfortably. Perhaps yung pinaka-struggle ko growing up was being a middle child. As a middle child, I felt that my parents were paying more attention to my older sister and to my younger brother. So sabi ko sarili ko, I really have to do well in school so they'll also take notice of me. And dahil sa pagka-KSP ko, I was able to graduate cum laude from the Ateneo de Manila University with a degree in legal management. Upon graduating from the Ateneo, I was then invited to be part of the Philam Life Management Associate Program. So it's a management training program and umikot kami sa iba't ibang departamento ng Philam Life. Actuarial, marketing, investments, pati Philam properties, bank assurance, and then finally sa sales. After that 1 year stint, wherein we did special 3-week projects for each of those divisions, I was assigned permanently sa sales as a liaison officer between Philam Life Head Office and the agency force. So yung tawag sa amin nun was Agency Development Officer. No. And during my stint as an Agency Development Officer, it was my responsibility to make sure that the leaders and advisors in my sector were able to qualify to incentive trips, were able to grow their personal businesses, were able to hit their goals no sa Philam Life. And it was also the scope of my work to make sure that they're kept abreast of the many campaigns and the many directions that Philam Life wanted for the agency force. While I was a liaison officer, I got to meet with successful leaders and advisors. And sabi ko sarili ko, maybe in the future, I'd also explore the career. No? In fact, one of my mentors and now my manager, Miss Nina, she invited me while I was still an employee of Philam Life to take a look at this career more closely. And sabi ko sa kanya, I was enjoying what I was doing then sa corporate. So sabi ko, I'll just pray over it. I'll discern, no, kasi I'll wait for the right time to join. And soon enough, no, that sign from God came in the form of an incentive trip. Kasi as a liaison officer ng Philam, we were tasked to accompany advisors in our sector pag maraming nag-qualify sa mga incentive trips na yon. And it so happened na there was this trip to Hyderabad, India. And I haven't been to Hyderabad, India, and I really wanted to go there. So, maraming nag-qualify sa sector ko. And I was really happy about it kasi dahil filingero nga ako, inisip ko na ako yung papadala ni Philam Life. Unfortunately, and fortunately siguro, Philam Life sent someone more senior than I was. So sabi ko, it got me thinking, baka it's high time na I took charge no, of my own destiny, quote and quote. It was high time na I'll be able to go on these incentive trips on my own without having to wait for management's approval. Sabi ko sarili ko, baka ito na yung sign na binigay ni God. So the next day, I filed my resignation, and lo and behold, I became a full-time financial advisor. It was definitely a leap of faith. No, biglaan siya na decision, spur of the moment, and it came with initial challenges. No, una, my parents disapproved. Sabi nila, if maging advisor ako, syempre iba yung tingin ng mga tao sa advisor or agent yung tawag noon, no. They were part of the generation that grew up thinking that being an agent was not the most prestigious of jobs, 'di ba? And syempre yung perception nila towards salespeople was that ito yung mga tao na nagdo-door to door, no, knocking on people's doors, selling insurance, talking about death, talking about the need for disability insurance, ganon. So hindi talaga, parang they weren't really in favor of me becoming a full-time financial advisor. Pangalawa, I had no prior sales experience. Yes, I was assigned sa sales, no, sa corporate as a liaison officer, but I never had one-on-one meeting with a client before. So this was definitely a new ball game for me. Thirdly, I also viewed my young age as a disadvantage. I joined when I was 23 years old, and I knew that I'd be talking to people much older than I was, much more senior than I was. So definitely, I needed to prove to them that they'd listen to me for financial advice. Fourthly, I was an introvert. So hindi personality-wise, hindi talaga ako cut out for a sales profession. I was not the type of person who'd go out of my way and make friends with people. No, so definitely this was outside my comfort zone, yung ganitong kind of work. Time management was also a challenge. Firstly, because sanay ako sa pagiging empleyado. So sanay ako pumapasok ng 8:30, tapos umuwi ng mga 7:30 or 8 depending on the tasks, no, assigned to me for that day. Ngayon na financial advisor ako, hawak ko yung oras ko. So it was a double-edged sword kasi there was always a temptation to do petics, to procrastinate, kasi I had full control over my time. And then in terms of pride and ego, when I started my insurance business in 2013, hindi pa ganun ka-receptive yung mga tao sa idea of talking to a financial advisor. Meron talagang stigma of being a salesperson, especially among my peers who also graduated top of our class sa Ateneo. So being an advisor was not exactly anyone's idea of a dream job. So merong mga questioning looks, no, na, oh, naging advisor ka, naging agent ka. And syempre, for a time, it somehow affected my pride, no, and it bruised my ego. And of course, there were a lot of temptation to pursue other opportunities. Una, as a management associate of Philam Life, we had this clear career development plan laid out ahead of us. So we were being groomed to hold key management positions later on. So if ever I do decide to go back to corporate, alam ko na they'd welcome me. Pangalawa, I had opportunities as a US permanent resident. So I had the opportunity to pursue job openings, no, in the US without having to work through a working visa or a work visa kasi permanent resident ako ng US. And of course, there was that opportunity to also go back to Iloilo and do business. So maraming mga different choices, maraming mga options na available for me. But one by one, I was able to surmount these challenges. Una, I hit the ground running. Right after I filed my resignation, I was already telling my friends and prospects that as soon as I got my license, I will be meeting with them. So on my first month as an advisor, I was already a top producer with 8 paid cases, no, during my first month. Sobrang firm ako sa resolve ko to succeed in the business. Kasi firstly, I wanted to prove to my parents na merong future sa financial advisory services. And of course, ayoko maging walking irony. Kasi syempre, as a liaison officer ng Philam Life before, ako yung nagsasabi sa mga advisors na, uy, mag-qualify kayo sa $1 Million Roundtable. $1 Million Roundtable is the premier association of top financial professionals worldwide. So sabi ko sa kanila, yun yung lagi kong mantra sa kanila na to aspire to be MDRT. And medyo weird naman na when I became a financial advisor, if hindi ko ma-hit yun, no, sabihin nila medyo ironic na ako yung nagpo-push sa kanila, nagmo-motivate sa kanila na mag-MDRT, and here I am now as a financial advisor na hindi nag-MDRT on my first year. So yun yung naging vow ko na dapat first year pa lang maging MDRT ako. Whatever happens, dapat hindi ako bababa sa MDRT on my first year. I attended a lot of trainings and seminars, no, because yung belief ko talaga, what I lacked in experience and what I lacked in age, I can make up for it in terms of trainability and competence. So good thing din na maraming opportunities for learning, avenues for learning sa profession natin, both in the company and industry-wide, no, sa Life Underwriters Association of the Philippines. So lahat ng mga trainings and seminars, conventions, I attended them all. Kasi I wanted to hone my skills. I wanted to have that credibility to impart financial advice to my prospects and to my clients. Yan. So, nag-enroll pa ako aside from those being offered by Philam Life and those being offered by the industry. I even enrolled myself in other courses. So, nag-invest talaga ako, no, for learning. I enrolled myself in the Chartered Trust and Estate Planning program. It's I think 12-week na course or mga 10-week course. Every Saturday siya, no, na on estate planning. And then I also enrolled myself in the Quantum Leap Investment Management Program because I wanted to specialize in certain areas of financial planning, particularly estate planning and investment management, para I'll be able to give very in-depth advice sa mga clients ko. Holistic and in-depth advice sa mga clients ko. Slowly, I was able to transcend my being an introvert. As I started embracing the business and as I grew my prospect bank by talking to more people, relatives and friends, who in turn endorsed me to their relatives and friends too, I became accustomed to talking to more people. And slowly, I transcended from being an introvert to being an ambivert, no? Someone with a healthy balance of introvert and extrovert traits. And slowly, I was able to conquer my ego by reevaluating my decision to pursue the career, the business in the first place. No, lagi kong binabalikan yung tatlong freedoms na to kung bakit I choose to stay in this business. Una, freedom over time. I have complete control over my time and how I spend my time and with whom. No, I do not need to ask permission to file for leaves, no, or to take vacations kasi I'm my own boss. When I also have freedom over income. When I started, I never felt underpaid. Alam ko na the efforts, the rewards I experience are commensurate to the amount of effort I put in. So over time, I have even felt overpaid for doing what I love and doing what I excel at. And finally, freedom to do good. Yes, it's inevitable that some people may view our career as undignified. No, some people may look at us like networking salespeople, and that's okay. Kasi na-realize ko na even if they view our profession as undignified, it is our profession that gives dignity to widows and orphans and people in their old age at a time when they need it most. It is also our profession, our business, that gives dignity to sick people, no? When their only focus should be recovery and not about the mounting medical expenses that they'd have to face. So doon ko na realize na there's something bigger than my ego here, and that is that opportunity to do good and to do well at the same time. These are some of the milestones that I've experienced, in my 8 years as a financial advisor. I attended my first $1 million roundtable meeting in 2014 in Toronto, Canada. So na-hit ko yung goal ko on my first year to become an MDRT qualifier. And there, I got to meet with top financial advisors from all over the world who shared their best practices. And these advisors have been qualified to the association for 30 plus, 40 plus years. Itong katabi ko sa right-hand side, si Mr. Tony Gordon, he has been TOT for over 40 years. No? And sabi ko, yun yung life peg. 'Di ba? And that was how my dream of becoming a consistent MDRT qualifier was born. No? Sabi ko, if I really wanted to stand out, dapat yung goal ko, hindi lang MDRT on my first year, but MDRT year in and year out. Because I've met all of these top advisors from all over the world who got to qualify every single year, no, that they are financial advisors. So what's stopping me from becoming like them? Ayan. So ito, that's actually a screenshot, no, from our MDRT webpage, which indicates the number of years that we've qualified to the MDRT. So ako, I've qualified 8 times already. So 2 years pa, and then I become a life member of the MDRT. Life members are MDRT qualifiers who have qualified for at least 10 years. So I'm gunning for that, no, to become the youngest MDRT Life member. Here are some of the travel incentives we enjoyed as reward for our contribution to overall company growth. So you'll see here that we've traveled around Italy, Spain, Canada, Japan. No, so these are all the travel incentives we've had the past 8 years. Yeah. The year before the pandemic, we went on an Alaskan cruise, and the year before that, we toured around the Netherlands. The year before the Netherlands trip, we traveled around the United Kingdom. So if you have Wonderlust, this is really the right business for you, because on top of the commissions that you receive, Philam Life will even reward you with travel incentives and all expense paid, no, all expense paid na mga travel incentives. Yeah, and just last year lang yung only time that we didn't have a travel incentive. So Philam Life converted it last year and this year. Yung mga travel incentives namin supposedly during the pandemic, kinonvert na lang to cash. No, so when tourism reopens, we can travel again with our loved ones. Yeah. And for middle children like me, na who crave recognition, this business has given us so much of it na parang kami na yung umaayaw sa recognition program. No, so year in and year out, Philam Life finds ways to recognize our efforts. And even during this pandemic, it's heartwarming to they continue to look for ways to make us for working hard and for contributing to the overall performance of the company. So ito yung mga pictures from the different recognition programs that we've had the past years. Ngayon, virtual na lang, online because of the pandemic, but still, they continue to send tokens of appreciation to us for our contribution to the company's performance. Yan. And also, ito yung mga awards programs from our agency and from our unit. So even Starbright makes sure that we all feel valued for the contribution that we put in sa performance ni Starbright. Just last year, I was featured as one of 2 Filipinos in the AIA Centennial Book. AIA is the parent company of Philam Life, and this book was a commemoration of the 100-year history of our parent company. And I was featured as one of 2 Filipinos. The other Filipino is an industry legend who has been in the career for over 60 plus years. So it was an honor to represent the Philippines among the 18 markets of American International Assurance. Yeah. The next slide is quite confidential, but I am sharing it with you, not to brag, but to help you visualize in a concrete manner how rewarding this business can also be for you income-wise. Now, this slide, I don't usually share this pag nagbi-business opportunity program outside Starbright. But here's a Starbright, since this is also an orientation program for those who have already attended Fast 1. I think it's quite apt to show and how rewarding this business can be as long as we put our mind and our heart into it. Now, this chart shows my income from the time I started in 2013 up to 2020 during the pandemic. And you'll notice that throughout the years, from the time I started, I was already able to triple my income. Since the time I started my insurance business, I even grew my income during the pandemic. And I think this is due to the fact that aside from first-year commissions, we get renewal commissions and business and bonuses, and our total income compounds as you grow your client base. And as you continue to take care of your clients, you'll feel that your income increases exponentially. So now I am serving over 450 plus clients in my 8 years. And I can really say na serving more people has become more rewarding, and more profitable also for my insurance business. And so from 937,000 in 2013, in 2020, total income has become 2.8 million. And there are some in Starbright, in our agency, and in our district, who even earn much higher than that. No, there are some who earn as high as 4 million in total income, and even higher. No, as you assume more roles and as you expand your client base. So these are some of the rewards, the personal rewards that I was able to enjoy because of time freedom in this business. When my girlfriend then was studying in New York, was taking up her master's in New York, and she did language immersion studies in South America. I was able to go with her there. So we traveled around South America. Nag-Peru kami, nag-Bolivia. We traveled around the US. And I didn't have to file for leaves kasi hawak ko yung oras ko. Before my wife and I got married, I was able to save up for the first na investment, and I think this would not have been possible without the very rewarding business at Philam Life. So this was our first condo. This is our first condo sa Makati. We got married last December 2015, and I was able to pay for our wedding solely from my income sa Philam Life. So doon ko na-realize na I'm in this business for the long term because I realized na it is really very rewarding. A few weeks after our wedding, my wife and I went on our honeymoon. We went to Morocco for 3 weeks. And again, I didn't have to file for leaves. I didn't have to ask permission from a boss kasi hawak ko yung oras ko. And then we went on our second honeymoon around Europe naman. So we traveled around the UK and then France and then Eastern Europe na travel. But of course, yung greatest blessing talaga dyan is that 2 years after our wedding, we were blessed with our little girl. And I'm happy to say that because of this business, because of this career, I was present in all the milestones of my daughter. Nandun ako when she took her first bite of solid food. Nandun ako when she learned how to walk. Nandun ako when na-win siya last year lang actually when she was 3 years old. I was present in all those moments dahil hawak ko yung oras ko and dahil this business has given me that much freedom over my time, and I get to spend time with my family, and I think yun talaga yung pinaka-importante. A few months after our daughter was born, in 2018, merong trip incentive si Philam Life sa Netherlands. So sabi ko, sige, I'll bring my daughter and my wife with me. So naging baby moon na rin namin yun. So aside from the Netherlands trip, we traveled around Belgium and France. And ang saya to be traveling with family without having to worry about leaves. My wife and I, we also brought our baby with us when my dad celebrated his 70th birthday on a cruise. So we went on a cruise, Italy, Israel, and Greece, and sama-sama kaming lahat. So that was in 2018. So in several times a year, we were able to really feed our Wonderlust because of this time freedom that I got to enjoy from Philam Life. So when we were looking for a date for our cruise ship na travel, my siblings had to check their calendars, pero ako, since hawak ko yung oras ko, anytime game ako to travel. Yan. My wife and I decided to move to my hometown in Iloilo City to provide a more adequate playing space for our daughter and to escape yung traffic and the congestion of Metro Manila, which we found to be unsuitable in raising our baby. We also found condo living a bit too cramped for us, especially pag may yaya. So we looked for a tenant for our condo and we moved to Iloilo and decided to build our own house in Iloilo. We started building February of last year and we finished in 10 months and moved to our new home by December 2020. So dito kami nag-Christmas last year. We spent our first Christmas here in our new home. Beyond the monetary rewards and the trip incentives, it's also very important to me that what I do has meaning in the lives of the people that I serve, especially my clients. It is one thing to join this business and reap and enjoy the fruits of our labor, but it is also another to stay committed to this career for a purpose far greater than ourselves. I think yung reason for me staying in this business this long is that I know how much of an impact my efforts are on the financial health and well-being of my clients. I have facilitated critical illness claims and accident claims, and my clients are beyond grateful for having signed up a plan with us at Philam Life. Na yung plano na yon relieves them of financial burdens at a time when their only focus should be recovery. And this is one of the things that fuels me to soldier on in this mission. I also feel so blessed to be in a career and in a business that allows me to build communities with people from all walks of life. In these 2 photo contests of Philam Life, my clients campaigned hard for me. No? May mga clients ako na business owners with several employees, 800 plus, 1,000 plus, no? And they're really very supportive. And meron akong mga clients na garbage collectors, meron akong clients na delivery personnel, and and I'm happy that this career has allowed me to embrace this community of people with very diverse backgrounds. No, so from a very shy person who does not want to really meet with people, I've grown accustomed to building and to valuing this community of clients that I have, that clients who have now turned into advocates, no? People who keep endorsing me to their friends, to their relatives, and to their colleagues. Some of you might think that, yes, that's all well and good before COVID-19. Pero paano ngayon na may pandemic tayo? How do we operate in this pandemic new normal? I am happy and proud to share na si Philam Life was actually one of the first to have adapted to this crisis. Philam Life made sure na yung operations natin continued through digital selling. So people who are in need of coverage and protection during these uncertain times may still be able to transact with us from the comforts of their homes. The move was really a game changer in my business, and it made me realize that I am lucky to be in a venture that is pandemic proof and that provides solid business continuity no matter the times. So even during the pandemic, I was able to excel and to achieve growth in the insurance business because of the tools that Philam Life provided us with. I was one of the early qualifiers for the 8th time to the $1 Million Roundtable, having qualified June of last year during the pandemic. And I was also recognized as the top advisor of Philam Life's #1 agency for the 3rd time. It goes without saying that with digital selling, I was able to achieve all these and more. With digital selling, na-realize ko naging financial advisor ako without borders. I now have wider market reach. I have prospects as far north as Lawag to as down south as Cagayan de Oro and Davao while staying at home here in Iloilo City. I have lower overhead costs. Before, di ba, we would treat clients to a coffee shop or a restaurant. Now we can meet with them and transact with them cost-free, from the comforts of our home and from the comforts of their own homes. So, mga clients din natin hindi nahahassle pag mini-meet natin sila ngayon. Of course, there are no traffic woes na. One of the primary reasons why we decided to build our home in Iloilo instead of Metro Manila was because of the horrendous traffic there. And now, because of the pandemic, this has become a non-issue. Pero still, tuloy-tuloy pa rin yung client calls because everything has become digitalized already. And traffic is no longer an issue. Fourthly, to my surprise, it was even easier to approach clients ngayon because of the pandemic because more people are now aware of the importance of having ample protection and coverage during these uncertain times. I'm not saying that the pandemic is a good thing, but what I'm saying is that there are now a lot more people who know that it is important to get themselves protected. And most of the time, yung mga prospects natin, nasa bahay lang din sila. So mas mabilis mag-set ng appointments ngayon. And finally, it goes without saying that with digital selling, walang cost to worry about infection, to worry about being infected. Kasi nasa bahay lang din tayo. I realized na even during this pandemic, what makes a successful advisor successful remains the same. No? Yung 3 C's na to: character, competence, and commitment. Character, it means having the integrity to be stewards of our clients' funds, because at the end of the day, trust pa rin yung currency ng advocacy natin, and having the courage to face rejections on a daily basis. And of course, the humility to be trainable and coachable to the people who invited us to this business. Of course, there's competence. We are engaged in the serious business of imparting sound financial advice to our clients. So it is our responsibility to make sure that we keep ourselves up to date, with the latest investment and financial know-hows para holistic and in-depth yung financial advice that we give our clients. And finally, commitment. The people who stay long in this career, in this business, are the people who reap the greatest rewards. It means staying on and soldiering on in this mission no matter what happens, and being agile to adapt to changes beyond our control, like the pandemic, for example. I end this presentation with my favorite quote from J. Corey Hoffer, one of the MDRTs I met in the MDRT annual meeting. He said that to be a successful financial advisor, one must have the mind of a capitalist and the heart of a social worker. This business is not about the products that we sell. No, it's about the entrepreneur who runs it. And I believe that the mind of a capitalist and the heart of a social worker are what makes you a good insurance entrepreneur. Bakit heart of a social worker? Because this business will only bear fruit when we put others, especially our clients, first. So dapat laging clients first in everything that we do. This ends my segment, and I invite all of you guys to live a life of significance, life of business of excellence, and at the same time, significance through a life of service. So thank you so much for inviting me, DJ. I give the floor back to you now.